हर 4 महीने में आता है एक सीए का अटेम्प्ट, और हर अटेम्प्ट में आते हैं कई सारे रैंकर्स। मतलब 12-12 घंटे पढ़ाई तो हम भी कर रहे हैं, बट स्टिल वी स्ट्रगल टू क्लियर विथ आवर अटेम्प्ट। एंड यू ऑल्सो हैव द सेम क्वेश्चन कि व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस इन रैंकर्स अप्रोच टूवर्ड स्टडीज एंड approach of the towards study of the average student. Then yes, this session is for you. Good morning everyone. I Vaibhav Ambori, editor head of Pune Vikasa, welcomes you all for the today's session Journey to One, hosted by Pune branch of Vikasa jointly with Amravati branch, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar branch, Dhule branch, Pimpri Chinchwad branch and Bilaspur branch. And for the today's session we have with us all-time ranker CA Rajan Kabra with us. Highest scorer of CA Foundation, 378 marks out of 400. CA Inter, AIR 1. CA Final, AIR 1. Ex-KPMG and currently pursuing industrial training at BCG, that is Boston Consulting Group. Welcome Rajan to the today's session.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vaibhav, and the entire team. Yeah, thank you so much for having.
Rajan, before starting with our question and answer interview session, I would like to ask you one thing. What motivated you to pursue CA as a career? Because you know what happens ki Trupti is my friend, she is doing CA, so I will be also doing the CA. So it was like that, yeah, फिर you had some different approach towards CA course.
Okay, so basically, when I was in grade 8th, 9th, at that time, my affinity towards physics and chemistry reduced because I could not like it. So ये तो decide हो गया था कि I want to do commerce. And then because one of the best courses in commerce is obviously CA, and also my father is a practicing chartered accountant. So
Yes.
because of that, I have seen him over the period of my childhood days, how a CA functions and what exactly happens. So I had a fair understanding of what the course exactly is and what I'm signing up for. And hence, because of these two, three factors, and because I wanted to pursue commerce, a good understanding, wanted to get into the business understanding and stuff, and hence I decided to go for CA as a course. So that was the factor which helped me to start the course as such. And there's nothing special as a motivating factor, but for me, it was every time it was, I have to give my best. And hence, whatever course I wanted to sign up for after schooling, I was like, whatever course I sign, I will have to give my best. So that was the thing.
Okay. So can you briefly share your CA journey and the biggest turning points of whatever, maybe 2 turning points or 3 turning points of your journey?
Okay, so talking about my CA journey, so it began from CA Foundation. This was 2021 July when I gave my CA Foundation, started preparing for it along with grade 12th. And because at that time COVID and all was there, so
Right.
I had a lot of time to prepare for CA Foundation, so completely chill environment. That was something that happened. But then there was talk about the first turning point was intermediate, because intermediate for us, because they gave exams in July end, the results came out around September 2021, and the
Right.
exam was due in May 2022. So comparatively 2 to 3 months less as compared to other folks. And hence, that was a big turning point where, because in CA Foundation, the syllabus was very low, comparatively less bulky, and also had a lot of time. Yahan pe it was entirely ulta, because you have like what 2 to 3x of syllabus of CA Foundation plus lesser time as compared to others, as compared to people from earlier attempts. And hence it was kind of a turning point, whereas entirely, entire 9 month phase, you are entire into books and nothing going outside. And then COVID also helped because you cannot go outside. So that thing also helps. That was my CA intermediate journey, took classes, did some revision, and then cleared my CA intermediate in May 2022. So after that, I completed, almost the thing that you do ITT and orientation, and I was fortunate to do orientation with Vaibhav as well. So that was a good part of it. And afterwards, I went to Mumbai for my articleship. Was in KPMG for 1 year. This was core corporate and international taxation involved, compliance, advisory, all direct tax litigation, because that was my favorite subject in intermediate and also till date, one of my favorite subjects. And hence I wanted to do it there. But then I understood, that taxation and auditing to TK, let's try something new, experiment with things. And so I went to a project finance based firm, Mumbai Nayi, This was all across where you are pitching, banks about getting loan for your loans and other debt covenants for your clients. Then because, I think one of the most best part about our CA articleship is industrial training, where you can work not under a CA firm, but under actual operation or company or something of that sort, or a consulting firm. So took that advantage, and currently I am at BCG. Been here since September 2024, joined in September, and done two, three cases. Good experience as such. And then, yeah, obviously had a 4 month study leave, cleared my CA finals in May 2025, and we had recently had the results. So yeah, that is the overall journey. And one of the turning points that I missed maybe was after my CA intermediate, I came to Mumbai. Was living in a hostel here, all CA students hostel, which is RVG. So that was kind of a turning point. Everyone around you is doing CA. Everyone is waking up every day and going to their offices, coming back tired from office, and then studying as well. So that is something, which keeps you excited and motivated to study as well.
Okay. We cleared in same attempt for
Yeah.
foundation. And I also remember we had a very less time to prepare for the intermediate.
Yes.
So what was your study schedule for less time across
Uh,
CA foundation, CA intermediate, and even for final?
okay. So the CA foundation was a chill study schedule because, the time was ample time and less number of books to handle. So I think that is a, big, there was a big advantage at that time. For intermediate, because my focus was on because I knew I have to complete the syllabus as fast as possible. So my focus was on completing the syllabus, so that I can have some time for revision. So that was my strategy at that time. So I took all recorded lectures, also took some lectures of previous attempts so that I could access those lectures earlier as compared to the live recording back that was happening. That was my ideology because I wanted to complete, the classes or get an understanding of what the subject is actually uh, as early as possible so that I can revise and give time to books and myself at an earlier stage. So that was something was my core strategy at intermediate and also at final level because at CA finals, I knew that I wanted to go for industrial training and maybe I will not be able to study with industrial training. And also the fact that in general, because I was opting to go for Mumbai away from home and hence that was an aspect that I was considering. So for me, more or less, the strategy both in intermediate and final was to start early, so that once I've completed the classes, once I've understood what the concepts actually are, I have time with myself to sit with books and understand and read and do a proper reading and then revise things. So I think that was something which was my overall strategy and ideology with less time in hand.
Less time. Did you always aim for all India rank, or it was just a byproduct of your consistent effort?
I think, this is something that I've always thought of in life. And, this is what my kind of philosophy is that I want to give best in whatever I'm doing. And second was, I never wanted that, okay, after CA results or after any of the level results, I'm like, I am regretting that maybe I could have, you know, uh, studied that one day where I was doing some time pass or that 2 weeks where I was not studying and not focusing on studies or not giving my 100%. So that was something which I did not want any regrets later. And hence I put in all my efforts in it and never focused on if I want to get a rank or something of that sort. Obviously, because I had a history in foundation in interview, there was some kind of pressure and some kind of, thing involved that, okay, now let's aim for a rank or let's, and then, but the last 4 months study leave, I completely wiped off that particular thought from my mind. Okay, ki jo ho gaya, wo ho gaya. Now you have to focus on CA finals right now. So that was something which I focused on and not thought of rank as such because there's a constant loop in your mind that you keep thinking about that thing and hence try to avoid that thing.
How did you manage multiple subjects, especially theory versus practical papers? Any specific study techniques?
Okay, so maybe I think for theory paper, because I'm an early morning person, so what I used to do is for theory, used to wake up early in the morning and do things like something like audit or maybe law for intermediate was something which I used to study in the morning. Other than that, I think the other subjects, at least at the final level, are more of a mix of theory and practical. Like some subjects, like something like a DT or IDT, also have some more or less some theoretical chapters, and other are more or less practical. But if you divide the day in the time where I'm most fresh and I'm most energetic, I used to do theory. But when you are sleepy, when you don't want to study at all, you do practical because practical is something that I personally love, and hence it keeps you you enjoy doing it. And in your slack period or when you're sleepy or afternoons and evenings when you're tired out, it's better that I used to do practical at that time because that kept me motivated to study. So that was my mix between theory and practical. More or less because theory required multiple revisions and practical requires writing practice. That was also a differentiation in strategy. For theory, maybe you could want to do maybe 3 to 4 revisions or one extra revision as compared to practical. And maybe in practical, you want to solve more mocks or do some rough calculations while you are studying for it. So I think that is a differentiation between theory and practical strategy.
Uh, did you ever face failure or setback during your CA journey or CA articleship? Because in articleship, we
Mhm.
make many mistakes.
Yes.
As the theoretical part is different, we have studied all the theory part, and the when we do practical, we made lot of mistakes. So when we make a mistakes, we thought that कि नहीं यार कुछ तो गलत हो रहा है. We feel down in our life. कि रात को
Yeah.
भी कभी कभी तो नींद भी नहीं आती कि
हाँ,
ऑफिस
हाँ,
में
हाँ,
ऐसा हो गया. So
हाँ, हाँ.
did you ever had any situation like that?
So, while I was in KPMG, there was kind of, a small blunder that happened, but I was fortunate because, it got resolved within a very small amount of time, and hence I was fortunate there. But specifically, while, I was at BCG before, exactly before the exam, so this was a sales case. And as CA students, we have never done sales. So that was something which was very challenging and also a learning experience for me. So in the first, few weeks of that case, because I was not able to actually convert the clients or, pitch properly, and that was something I thought that, I would have to improve. In that point of time, I was like, okay, maybe I'm not doing that good. Maybe, this is very challenging for me or something of that sort. But then that ethos comes out, okay, okay, yeah, let's challenge, let's face it, let's enjoy whatever is coming on your plate and let's learn from that experience. So that was something kind of my attitude at that time. So there was something, as you say, sleepless nights and all. वो होता है because कि यार I'm not able to do this particular thing or I'm not
Yeah.
able to give my 100% at that time or something of that sort. So it usually happens in over a period of time. Obviously there are ups and downs in life. It also happens not just during articles, but also when you are in a study leave period or whenever you're studying, there will be breakdowns. There would be some kind of things when you're thinking like, yeah, नहीं पढ़ना अब हो गया बहुत हो गया. These usually happen. Like this happens with everyone that I think. Yeah? If it is not happening, then you're not a human.
Right.
Is what I think. So it's okay. It's a part and parcel of life. You can have a straight graph. There's always ups and downs. It's part and parcel. But yeah, like school. It's important that you be calm in those times and take guidance from your what do you call mentors, your friends, family, and other stuff.
Right. How did you deal with exam stress and pressure? क्योंकि सुबह पढ़ा हुआ एग्जाम में याद ही नहीं रहता.
So I think for me, one of the most important thing which benefited me was I'm a person who wants to be very calm, at least in the 3 hours of that exam. So I'll sleep 8 hours. I'll not panic. I'll close my books at 12 for a 2 p.m. exam. Not take books to the exam hall and create panic that हाँ ये याद नहीं आ रहा है ये thing. That was something which I followed and which helped me a lot across my all three levels. Because cutting off from the books earlier and also having a 10 hour sleep. Like all across my study leaves and all across, even during the 50 days of exam, I used to have 8 to 9 hours of sleep. That was important for me so that, that 3 hours, there is no pressure, there is calmness around. And obviously, when you are studying, there obviously when you have some mock and you're not you're not expecting such low marks, or you're expecting higher marks as compared to what you have actually got, or you made some blunders in writing mocks, or you're not able to learn things like something from audit. Audit usually happens कि तुम हर दूसरे दिन भूल जाओगे. So that is something which I think the best way to cope up with it is number one, be calm and have some kind of uh, positive buster with you, or some kind of you talk with friends, you talk with family, you talk with people whom you love, and whom you can interact and share your thoughts. Maybe one thing which helped me is talking with friends who are in the same boat as with you. So they will tell कि हाँ भाई ऐसा ही हुआ था हमारा भी याद नहीं आ रहा था तो ठीक है this is a normal part and parcel of life. Talk to your seniors because they have gone through it. उनको पता है कि हाँ भाई ठीक है हमारे साथ भी ऐसा ही हुआ था तो chill करो. This is what they will say, and then some kind of confidence you build in yourself कि हाँ ठीक है, like everyone has gone through it, everyone has faced the same thing. I'm not the alone. I'm not the lone person is going through this. I think that comparatively helps to move forward. And then one of the important aspects I think in the CA course is now given the fact that the people will have 6 to 7 months of leaves after they're completing their articleship to give their examination. I think those people, who would sustain those 6 months would be the one who will be passing and being successful, rather than those who would be studying very much in the first 4 months and then panicking in the last 2 months or something. So I think now the game is more about sustenance rather than studying a lot. Because I was fortunate, I had only 4 months. The sustenance cycle was shorter for me. Like I had to only sustain for 4 months in that exam situation. For these guys now, it will be 6 months, 7 months. For someone, it might be also 8 to 9 months. So I think that sustenance is important rather than just studying continuously.
Uh, what sacrifices do you have make during preparation?
From sacrifices, one thing I kind of cut off from my large group of friends and, was very 3 to 4 friends, one or two relative, and obviously my family. So I cut off more from the people. I think that kind of sacrifice, because over the period of the last 3 to 4 years, because I've been in Mumbai, I've been in some kind of competitions, conferences. I know a lot of people now. So I've developed a good network, and then kind of cutting off with that network, and there was something which kind of sacrificed. Second thing, I'm very excited about things like international relations and what's happening in the economy, etc. But then I get too involved in that particular thing and keep reading about it, and hence I kind of cut off that during the 4 months. Uh, and because the people who know me would know there's something like an Indo-Pak situation that happened during our exams, and our exams got postponed. I would have been the first person to speak about it and tell that okay, this should happen and then this could happen and something kind of talk around that. And at that time, I realized okay, in the last 4 months, I did not know what's happening, uh, and I was completely clueless during that time. And it was a shocker for me. Okay, there is something like India-Pak situation that has actually happened. So I think that was the kind of sacrifice which I would not want to make later in my life. But yeah, at that point it was important because then I would have got deeper into that rather than studying on my CA material. So yeah, that was one of the sacrifices which I made. Yeah.
One more question is how you manage your social media? Because in
Uh-huh.
today it has become addiction for every CA student. रात
Yes.
को 5 मिनट तो रील देखना ही है, then only
Uh-huh.
I can.
Yeah. So firstly, like I'm lucky I do not have an Instagram account yet. So, but obviously, Reels, YouTube Shorts में convert हो चुकी है अब, so that is not a problem with me. मतलब there is some kind of addiction involved. So I think one thing which I did during my study leave at least was I converted my entire YouTube algorithm in only CA related content stuff. So I used to search for only CA, CA final prep, some revision videos or strategy videos, something of that sort. So at one point of time, within 1 month of my study leave, other things like maybe some kind of whatever my other interests like cuisines and international relations and these all economic stuff, they kind of got obliterated in that. Mainly, my entire feed was about CA related stuff. So I think play with that algorithm and create completely alter your feed so that at least my YouTube feed, basically I was active only on YouTube, WhatsApp, and LinkedIn. My YouTube feed was completely CA related stuff. I had played with that algorithm and it actually happened. Uh, I think also there is some kind of other tactics that you can use on YouTube where, you can directly search for what you want and that particular video comes up. I'm not sure of how that functions, but I've heard it from some of my peers who used to do that. Another thing that the WhatsApp I said, I had cut off from most of the other friends, extended friends, and something of that sort. Only two, three friends and other WhatsApp groups. I've completely archived them. And one thing, that I used to do is I used to keep my mobile outside in the hall or with my mother. And, whenever I want to need a break or I want to ask a doubt to my friend or something of that sort, I would just go out, tell her that I want to use the mobile for only 10 to 15 minutes, set up a timer or something of that sort, use mobile for 10 to 15 minutes, give it back to her or leave it back in the hall where it used to be and then come back and study again. So I think, wherever you're sitting in your room or at your study table, it's better that the mobile is kept far off from where you're actually sitting. Gives two things because there's not, in your eyesight, you do not go and pick it up. And second thing, if it is far away and you think that, okay, maybe someone like me who is a kind of an आलसी person would say, yeah, ठीक है, मतलब 10 मिनट बाद जाके देख लेंगे या 10 मिनट बाद जाके डाउट पूछ लेंगे, something of that sort. So I think there is something I was active on LinkedIn, but I deleted the app and was on the browser. So something like that would also help because browser the UI UX features are like very bad. Uh, you know, so that help that also helps because after 5 minutes I was like, हाँ नहीं देखना है यार अब like मजा नहीं आ रहा है इसमें. So then you completely switch it off. So I think that also helps. So these are some tactics that I personally use that could be helpful to others as well. Yeah.
We are into old scheme, 3 years of articleship.
Hmm.
So now students get a lot of time for the studies after
Yes.
their articleship with no pressure from the client, no pressure from the office.
Yes.
How did you manage your studies during your whole articleship?
Mhm.
Uh, did you had any clients call during your CA news or any call from office? So, and how did you manage it?
Okay. So in the beginning, the first part when I was in KPMG and the project finance at B Maheshwari, at that particular time, because more or less only classes were going on at that particular time, so my major focus was whatever time I used to get after coming back to hostel from articleship, or maybe when I am on some kind of weekend leave or leave at home. That time, my main focus was completing the classes and understanding the concepts and more or less that thing. And because there was no strict timeline as such, because I did not have live classes, all of them were mostly recorded. And hence I could, have that flexibility. Okay, I can view maybe 5 classes a day on a weekend, or maybe in half class on a weekday, depending on what the time pressure and everything is. Obviously, after a particular point of time, you do not get client calls as such while you are in articleship. Like, okay, a client will call you up till 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. in the night, but not after that. Or maybe you'll call after 7 a.m. in the morning, but not before that. We can manage that thing with articleship depending on work pressure. Like there are some kind of cycles involved, even in audit, even in taxation. 2, 3 months are quite hectic. So at that time, you cannot study, obviously, but then there are certain slack seasons where you can devote more time towards your studies. Oh, that was something during articleship. As far as industrial training is concerned, that 4 months before exam, you could say, I could have done what kind of zero exam prep or something of that sort. I just completed my DT lectures because there were amendments in direct taxation at our time. And that was something I was focusing on during that 4 month period. The best part, I think, about some industrial trainings like something like BCG is that you have a case-based experience. So once a case, you're off, you're not staffed on a case, maybe the client will not interact with you. There was some client interaction in the first week of my study leave, but then I mentioned them that okay, I'm no more on this case, and you can contact with XYZ person, and hence that particular thing ended well. So I think that helped me, and because they're not long-term clients when you're on a particular case at BCG, so that helped me. And also, a best part was I had to submit back my laptop while going on a leave. So there is nothing like, okay, give that file and give that stuff and something of that sort. But I think, while you're going on leave and you have a good communication with the, team members that, okay, I'm going on leave and I not want to be disturbed and have clear communication, then that thing can be sorted, is what I think.
Okay. So you have done your articleship from Big Four. Also, you have done industrial training.
Yes.
So now the students you have shifted from articleship to industrial training.
Mhm.
More and more student wants to join industrial
Yes.
training, maybe because of the uh, corporate need, or maybe because of some stipend, because it is comparatively more in industrial as compared to COPs.
Yes.
So what is the pros and cons of joining Big Four as well as joining industrial training?
I think for Big Four, I would say one of the biggest pro is that you get more complex problem solving as compared to what you would get in a mid-sized firm, is what I think. Apart from that, you get a understanding of the corporate culture very early in life. You're what, 18, 19 years old when, or maybe depending on your, 18 to 20-year old when you are clearing your CA intermediate. And hence at that time, getting the corporate flavor is something that helps you build your career going forward. But I think one of the cons is that there is very niche practices in Big Four. In case you are in taxation or something like a transfer pricing, you may be only working on transfer pricing, a very niche thing, and you no more become a generalist as compared to mid-sized firms where you're doing auditing, where you're doing GST, where you're doing income tax as well, a mix of all three, a mix of other domains as well. So that is something which is a con of mid-size, a con of something like a Big Four. And also in auditing, Big Four mostly involve documentation and all. Actual work is very low, as what I understand from my peers. And I think that is something, if you want to set up your own thing or do your own thing, it's better to go for a mid-size firm as well. Talking about industrial training, I think one of the biggest pro of industrial training is the experience that you get firsthand. Because mostly the interns in these kind of companies are the MBA interns, and these people have done first year of MBA, so they will basically after 3 years of graduation, they have done 1 year of MBA, and then they are getting at that place, and you are getting that before even becoming a chartered accountant. I think that is one of the best things about the industrial training, that your peers will be someone who is like at least 3 years older than you and have more experience than you, but both of you are on the same page and learning the same thing and doing the same stuff. I think that is something which is exciting about industrial training, and also varied exposure. You can go into consulting, you can go into FP&A, you can go into different corporate finance roles, anything of that sort. And in someone who wants to go to a job going forward, it's one of the very good things to go for industrial training. I think the biggest con during my time, and for someone who has done 3 year articleship, is time. I did not get time while you're doing your industrial training, and because that is very nearer to your exams, that is the biggest con. And I think that is more or less one of the biggest cons that I can think of. But now that these people have only 2 years articleship and like 8 to 9 months to spare before exams, so I think they can take that particular you know, gamble of going to industrial training and devoting much time of their hours towards study during that time and then pick up later. So I think that can be managed.
Uh, you are high scorer of foundation, AR1 of intermediate, and AR1 of CA final as well. So, what is ranker's approach towards studies? Like writing practice, whether it is for a theory subject, case solving for practical subject. What was your approach? Your friend must be a ranker. So, what you have learned from them, what you have learned from your peers.
Mhm. So I think one of the most important differentiating factor is the mindset, and I think mindset is kind of a make or break in our particular course, because especially the transition from foundation to intermediate is not easy, because you're coming from, maybe like foundation is comparatively easier or used to be easier. Now I think they have kind of increased the toughness of foundation as well, but the transition is very difficult for some people, because in foundation you are doing, you're working with junior college and kind of chill environment and lower subject, lower amount of syllabus, etc. As compared to intermediate, where you have a huge syllabus coming in. I think managing that huge syllabus and having that mindset, okay, I'll do it, is something which differentiates a ranker from maybe someone who's not able to clear, is what I think. And also during, because this is a very 3 year long journey from intermediate to final as well. So during that time, there is some kind of road planning that is involved, and that should be involved. Is the most is everyone has a broad plan. Okay, for the 2 years I'm going to do this thing. For the second year I'm going to do this thing. Third year I'm going to do this thing. I think keeping on that broad plan and understanding that broad plan and having that mindset is something different from people who might not have been able to clear, is what I understand. And also, as I was talking about mindset, coming, going about that mindset that I have to make, I have to, you know, score 300 marks to pass or something of that sort. So I think that mindset is something that might, not be beneficial, because if you think of 300, you will not get 300 marks. You'll get something 250 or 200. As you say, aim for the moon and you will land in the star, something of that sort, where you're aiming, when you're aiming, why you're aiming for only a 300 mark or a 40 mark, aim for more than that, and then you will land near that mark. If you aim for exemption, you will pass. If you aim for 80, you will get an exemption, something of that sort. Because this is very unpredictable. You never know what could happen in some kind of exam and whatever. Like for us, audit was a completely off paper during our exams. Every year, every attempt, they have one paper which is completely off and crazy and something of that sort. I think more or less having a very positive mindset and staying consistent and sustaining during that entire period, because you're doing your articleship. Maybe for someone like me, you're going outside, you're going out of your home, and you're not at a home place, and you're also managing other things other than your articleship, also managing professional life, personal life, and also studying. That's something which is sustaining all these and balancing everything is important, is what I feel.
Okay. How important is writing practice in CA exam?
Okay, so I think at least in the CA foundation and CA intermediate stage, because you have that flow of writing and you are writing things because you have just written maybe 12th grade papers. So foundation, you have some kind of writing practice. Intermediate also, because you have just given foundation, the time gap is comparatively low, so you have some kind of writing practice, which is good. But I think at a CA final level, because you have given CA intermediate 3 years back, and you are completely using laptops and devices every single day, your writing practice is a very important aspect, at least in CA final, because you have completely lost writing. Which is what I personally felt when I was, starting at my study leave, that, my speed has reduced, I'm no more able to write for a longer period of time. So that is something which is important. And for that, what I usually used to do is use rough calculation sheets or something of that sort, rough writing or rough sheets instead of writing the exact sum, because it also saves time, and your hand is continuously working when you're doing at least the practical subjects. Obviously, in theoretical subjects, you cannot write even the time frame involved, but it is important that you do some kind of scribbling or some kind of keyword writing, which helps you in writing practice. And obviously, mocks are an important aspect. So one of the reasons why wanted to write mock test papers was so that I can, able to understand what should my strategy be in that 3 hour, and also that I get some writing practice. So I think writing practice is very important. At least it's mostly at the CFNL level, because during the last 2.5 or 2 years, you have not done any kind of written practice because you're already on your laptops and other devices.
As you mentioned mock test, so
Mhm.
does mock test really helps in final exam?
So I think that approach for mock test is important. I think you should not approach mock test from a point of view that, okay, I want to understand how much do I actually know. So if that is the approach, then it helps you to understand what exactly your strategy should be during those 3 hours. When do you want to solve MCQ? When do you want to do question number one? So I think mock tests help you determine, what should your 3 hour exam strategy be. That is one thing. Second, as I mentioned, mock test is very important from writing practice point of view, especially for subjects like accounts, financial reporting, and financial management, AFM, and all, because they are practical subjects, and something like FR is comparatively very lengthy paper. Like every attempt that I have seen in the recent past is like, the questions, people know what is the answer to the questions, but they are not able to write because it is a lengthy paper. So I think here, because speed is also important aspect, your presentation skills might not be that important in CA final paper, but completing the 100% paper is more important, is what I feel. So it helps you in that particular case as well. And also, because if you're writing an exam environment, it helps you, kind of stimulate the exam environment at home or wherever you're writing the exam, especially for subjects like IBS, where you want to, you're going to keep books everywhere around you and going to search or not search. What kind of questions would you want to search in a book, or what kind of questions you want to write from yourself? So that kind of simulation that you do at home is better than doing that simulation in the exam hall for the first time. And hence, from that point of view, mock is important. But obviously, there is, I think, no ballpark number of mocks that you should do. Like, okay, you should give 2 mocks or 3 mocks, something of that sort. For me personally, I did not give any mock for auditing and indirect tax during my CA final prep. But as it turned out, IDT is my highest score. So it is not something, that, you should give mock or something of that sort. If you have confidence, okay, have a good writing practice, I know how I'm going to write the answer. It's fine if you're not giving mock. But this would not work out well for everyone, is what I feel. I might have gone lucky because of the postponement of the examinations as well. Uh, so this is not a. It's better to write mocks to understand the exam strategy and have a good writing practice.
Okay. How important is consistency as compared to intelligence and talent?
What I feel, consistency is one of the most important aspects in the CA curriculum aspects. Because not just CA curriculum, any kind of study what you do. Because even in school, even if we knew that boards are in March or April, but we used to have some kind of tests in the middle. So we used to study continuously. It was not like, okay, we're continuously, at least we are studying 1 month before the examination or 4 months before the exam. It was continuous study involved because we had some kind of testing environment there. Here, we actually don't have some kind of testing environment, but it's very important that you consistently study every single day. Because one thing that helped me as such is whenever I come from office and coming back tired at hostel, that one thing, you should have that one motivating factor or one spark in your mind where you find out that, okay, this is what I want to do, and hence that spark gives you a motivating factor to consistently sit up and show up every single day. So that showing up every single day is very much important. Because for someone like me, I am a person who would study maybe 8 or 10 hours for 7 days rather than studying maybe 12 to 14 hours for 5 days and not studying anything for 2 days. So I think that consistency helps you even to stay calm and not have that pressure and exam pressure that you were referring earlier. I think consistency helps you to overcome that as well.
Some student had this question. They have given two attempts but still failed. Then even in third and fourth attempt, they have failed. So, what will be your suggestion to them who are not clearing the exams even after attempt to attempt?
Yeah, I think it is very important to understand what exactly has the problem been. Sometimes it may be the fact that maybe you might not have understood the concepts very clearly, and maybe that is the impact that is creating. So you understand that the conceptual clarity is a flaw, or maybe the number of revisions is a flaw. You're not able to revise things is a flaw, or maybe you're not remembering things is a flaw. I think it's very important to deep dive and determine what has been the problem or what has been the flaw that has led to this. Or maybe you know the concept, but you're not able to articulate your thoughts. Maybe you're able to articulate the thoughts, but not able to complete the paper. Determining what exactly is the flaw, taking the entire process and understanding, okay, so this is where that person has gone wrong. And once you determine that particular case, then you work on that particular thing and then overcome the problem that you're facing and then become successful.
Okay. So, how did clearing CA with rank impacts your career opportunities?
I think some opportunities which are very specific to rankers, some leadership programs, some industries where they typically prefer rankers or they do have only rankers criteria as a shortlist. Obviously, it helps there. Apart from that, because getting a rank gives you, an academic backing, and if you have a good professional experience, maybe you can try to approach some fields or some domains where CAs are not hired currently, or maybe MBAs are only hired, so that gives an added advantage if you're in CA ranker, is what I feel. And apart from that, I think more or less, obviously, you would see around the corner that people usually prefer rankers as compared to non-rankers, and that is a norm because that gives an academic credibility. But I think that is not the only factor to be considered because there could be some rankers who might have not have a very good articleship experience. I don't want to name, but there is some kind of thing that is involved. Some rankers do some kind of dummy articleships as well. So this is also what happens. So it's not that only a academic rank would give you a very good career opportunity. There should be a mix of your academic rank, your professional experience, and overall street smartness and articulation of thoughts apart from your academic CA rank, is what I feel.
Right. What skills apart from academies should a CA student focus on?
I think for a CA student, apart from academic, because they're actually working at an articleship or in industrial training or whatever you're working, you get a very good exposure of other skills that are required, basically MS Office and other stuff. You get an experience of that. And I think it's very important that we also have a holistic point of view for life in general, because I think CAs are very constrained towards the financial aspects of it. And sometimes we do lack some kind of holistic approach toward things, or maybe also lack in selling ourselves, which is how we compete with the NBA guys and maybe have a disadvantage in that sort. So for that, I think some kind of articulation of your thoughts, expressing yourself more, and able to sell yourself is some kind of skills that we can acquire. Also, something related with technology, the AI. Everyone is hearing about AI these days, and it's very important that we understand whether some kind of technological benefits we want to do. I don't understand what exactly technology is all about. I think something that can be some skills that we can develop.
Uh, Apart from this, you would like to share any your thoughts or advice to CS parents?
Yeah, I think one important thing to understand is, you know, there's no clear path or there's no right path for success in C examinations as such. Because, everyone has a different approach. I know my friends who did not do anything for the first 2 years of their articleship and studied entirely the last year of their articleship. I know friends or something like me who was studying entirely within the 3 years of my articleship course, bit by bit every single day, someone who might have written a lot of mocks, someone who might have not written any mocks. So there is no clear path for success. And I think it's very important that you frame your own path, take inputs from every single person out there and take guidance from your mentor. But at the end of the day, understand yourself and what is your good strategy. Like I know people who might have done only 80% of the syllabus, but from a point of view that even in that 80%, they know 100% of the content. And there may be some people who might have got 100% of syllabus, but maybe they have a clarity of only 80 to 90% of it. There are different approaches entirely. And I think not sticking to one particular approach or not following only one particular person is what I think should be an overall thing. Not having one, there is not one right path for success is what I feel.
One rapid fire. Your favorite subject in the CA?
I think it should be direct tax.
Coffee or tea during late night studies?
One, I did not do late night studies and I did not drink tea. So it's either a cold coffee or in case of its winters, it's hot chocolate.
One mistake most CA students make.
I think not maybe not covering the entire syllabus or not having an entire syllabus clarity is what I think could be one of the mistakes. Yes.
One line of motivation you always believed in.
I do not want any regrets later.
So thank you, Rajan, for this session. Despite having such a busy schedule, you have your article shift to be completed, but still you have given your weekend to us. Uh, Lastly, on behalf of Pune Vikasa, I would like to thank to CA Rajan, all time Air One, giving your valuable time uh, to from your busy schedule to be with us. Your journey, strategies, and insights have truly inspired us and given even a CA aspirant here a clear sense of direction and motivation. I also like to thank all the participants from Pune branch, Amravati branch, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar branch, Dhule branch, Pimpri Chinchwad branch of Vikasa and Bilaspur branch of Sikasa. I also would like to thank CS Sachin Minyar sir, Chairman of Pune branch of Vikasa, and CA Pradnya ma'am, Chairperson of Pune branch of Vikasa, for continuous support for organizing such insightful session for CA students. Thank you everyone for participating in the session. Thank you. Have a good day. Thank you, Raja.
Yeah, thank you. It was my pleasure being here, and thank you so much to Pune Vikasa and Pune WS and also Weber. Yeah, thank you.